February, RTV6 is bringing you special stories in recognition of Black History Month. Tonight, we recognize the 120-year history of an African-American newspaper, minority and independently owned, the Indianapolis Recorder.
I really think about the courage it took to put out a paper, particularly at that time.
It was a time of racial tension, segregation, beatings, lynchings, documented with bold headlines and brutal images.
It's interesting also, what they chose to highlight above the fold.
In these aging pages, delicate and brittle, the Indianapolis Recorder Newspaper chronicles the history of a people. These issues date back to the early 1900s, when the Recorder cost 15 cents, a pair of shoes 97 cents. The stories on these pages were meant to educate, advocate, and motivate.
Because that's the only way African Americans were able to really learn about what's going on. That's the only way, individuals in Indiana, individuals in the South were able to know what was going on across the country because of the Black media. So very important role we played.
A role played for 120 years now. The Recorder was founded in 1895 by George Stewart and Will Porter as a two-page church bulletin. It was later expanded into a weekly newspaper. In 1988, reporter Eunice Trotter bought the publication. In 1990, it was purchased by William Mays, who later appointed his niece Caroline Mays as publisher and GM. The Indianapolis Recorder is now the third oldest African-American newspaper in the country and the oldest African-American newspaper in Indiana. Shannon Williams is the current president.
When I think about the Recorder being the third oldest surviving Black publication, I think of success and tenacity and determination, because it takes all of those things to really make it to that 120-year milestone.
Readers celebrated the accomplishments of their own. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as Times Man of the Year, Ernie Banks hailed as a hero, and local Crispus Attucks basketball star Oscar Robertson featured right above Cassius Clay, better known as Muhammad Ali. But in times of tremendous strife, the Recorder endured threats of bombings and arson, but the staff kept writing the stories, intent on keeping their loyal readers informed.
My grandmother was an avid reader.
And that inspired journalist Barato Britt to seek out a job at the Indianapolis Recorder in 1996.
We prided ourselves in really being able to address issues as they related to African Americans in Indianapolis from a particular perspective. So it was a badge of honor for us to really try to represent our community and share information that we thought would be relevant and engaging to the people.
While the paper continued to support and empower African Americans and kept with its roots of religion and community, in the late 90s a greater emphasis was placed on technology, financial stability, and more local and positive news, a formula the Recorder staff still adheres to today. Former Recorder reporter Tisha Sellers realized the importance of her work.
There is a legacy to carry on in terms of telling the stories about what's happening in the African American community. Not only what's happening, but then also looking at different ways to help improve the lives of African Americans.
Then and now, the Indianapolis Recorder serves as a testament to the African American heritage, with a strong commitment to building on its historic foundation.
So mostly I just feel very proud of those who came before us, and I think it's our responsibility to really honor them and their sacrifices by continuing the legacy of the newspaper.
Now, if you would like to look through some of those old editions of the Indianapolis Recorder, the archives are digitized through the Historical Society and IUPUI. You can search online through issues dating back to 1899. We have a link under the Hot button located at the very top of our homepage at theindychannel.com.